Conditional sentences are sentences that express a condition and its possible outcome or consequence. They typically consist of two parts: the if clause and the main clause. The if clause states the condition, and the main clause states what will happen if the condition is met. There are four main types of conditional sentences, each serving a different purpose and using different tenses. Zero conditional, type 0. First conditional, type 1. Second conditional, type 2. Third conditional, type 3. Type 0 conditional sentences are used to express general truths, scientific facts, or situations that are always true when a certain condition is met. The structure typically involves the simple present tense in both the if clause and the main clause. To create your own type 0 conditional sentences, identify a situation where the outcome is always the same when the condition is met. Use the simple present tense for both parts of the sentence. Type 0 conditionals are straightforward and help in expressing universally true statements effectively. General truths. If you heat water to 100 degrees Celsius, it boils. If it rains, the ground gets wet. Scientific facts. If you drop an object, it falls due to gravity. If metal is exposed to oxygen, it rusts. Habitual actions. If I wake up early, I go for a run. If she studies hard, she gets good grades. General rules. If a plant doesn't get enough sunlight, it dies. If you press this button, the machine stops. 50 example sentences that cover a variety of daily activities and general truths, illustrating the use of type 0 conditionals in everyday life. If you water plants, they grow. If you heat ice, it melts. If you eat too much, you feel full. If you touch fire, you get burned. If you don't sleep enough, you feel tired. If you exercise regularly, you stay fit. If you eat healthy foods, you feel better. If you study hard, you get good grades. If you don't wear a coat in the cold, you feel chilly. If you leave bread out, it becomes stale. If you mix yellow and blue, you get green. If you drink coffee late, you stay awake. If you boil water, it turns into steam. If you don't charge your phone, it dies. If you skip breakfast, you feel hungry. If you don't brush your teeth, you get cavities. If you park illegally, you get a ticket. If you leave milk out, it spoils. If you don't lock the door, it stays open. If you drop a glass, it breaks. If you turn off the lights, it gets dark. If you don't water flowers, they wilt. If you refrigerate food, it lasts longer. If you play music loudly, neighbors complain. If you wash clothes, they get clean. If you don't clean your room, it gets messy. If you don't feed your pet, it gets hungry. If you turn on the fan, it gets cooler. If you eat ice cream too quickly, you get a brain freeze. If you write with a pen, it leaves ink. If you watch TV all day, you get tired eyes. If you read books, you learn new things. If you walk in the rain, you get wet. If you speak politely, people appreciate it. If you don't exercise, you gain weight. If you listen to loud music, your ears hurt. If you eat spicy food, your mouth burns. If you use a map, you find your way. If you save money, you have more later. If you help others, you feel good. If you cook meat, it becomes edible. If you leave the heater on, it gets warm. If you read the news, you stay informed. If you clean regularly, your house stays tidy. If you wash your hands, you stay healthy. If you plant seeds, they grow into plants. If you recycle, you help the environment. If you follow recipes, your food tastes better. If you work hard, you achieve success. If you relax, you reduce stress. Type 1 conditional sentences are used to express real and possible situations in the present or future. These sentences typically consist of two clauses: the if clause and the main clause. In Type 1 conditionals, the if clause uses the simple present tense, while the main clause uses the simple future tense. Type 1 conditionals are used to talk about actions that are likely to happen in the future if the condition is met. By using Type 1 conditionals, you can effectively describe likely outcomes based on present actions or situations. Please note, the condition part always uses the simple present tense, and the result part uses the simple future tense. If it rains, we will stay indoors. If she studies hard, she will pass the exam. If they arrive on time, we will start the meeting. If you eat too much, you will feel sick. 50 example sentences that cover a variety of daily activities and general truths, illustrating the use of Type 1 conditionals in everyday life. If it rains tomorrow, we will cancel the picnic. If she finishes her homework, she will watch TV. If they arrive on time, we will start the meeting. If you study hard, you will pass the exam. If he calls me, I will answer. If we leave now, we will catch the train. If she practices every day, she will become a great pianist. If you don't hurry, you will miss the bus. If they win the match, they will celebrate tonight. If I see him, I will tell him the news. If you eat too much, you will feel sick. If it gets cold, I will wear a jacket. If she saves enough money, she will buy a car. If they invite us, we will go to the party. If you help me, I will finish the work faster. If it snows, we will build a snowman. If he is late, we will start without him. If they offer me the job, I will accept it. If you don't water the plants, they will die. If I find your keys, I will call you. If we run out of milk, I will go to the store. If he forgets his lunch, he will be hungry. If she gets a promotion, she will be very happy. If you tell the truth, people will trust you. If it is sunny, we will go to the beach. If they finish the project early, they will take a break. If he doesn't study, he will fail the test. If you invite her, she will come to the party. If we save money, we will go on vacation. If it rains, we will stay indoors. If she doesn't hurry, she will be late for school. If they don't fix the car, we will have to walk. If you don't listen, you will make mistakes. If I win the lottery, I will buy a new house. If we catch the early train, we will arrive on time. If he trains hard, he will win the race. If you don't wear sunscreen, you will get sunburned. If they arrive early, they will help set up. If she doesn't feel well, she will see a doctor. If it is windy, we will fly a kite. If you don't clean your room, you will lose your privileges. If I get the tickets, we will go to the concert. If we finish dinner early, we will watch a movie. If she doesn't answer, I will leave a message. If they follow the instructions, they will complete the task correctly. If you exercise regularly, you will stay healthy. If it is too hot, we will go swimming. If he doesn't stop smoking, he will damage his health. If you practice speaking English, you will improve. If we order now, we will get the food by 7 p.m. Type 2 conditionals describe hypothetical situations in the present or future that are unlikely to happen or are purely imaginary. These sentences are used to talk about unreal or improbable conditions and their possible results. They follow the structure if plus past simple, would plus base form of the verb. Type 2 conditionals are often used in both written and spoken English to discuss hypothetical situations, offer advice, or speculate about unreal conditions. For example, if I had more free time, I would travel around the world. I don't actually have more free time, so I won't travel. If she were the president, she would make significant changes. She is not the president, so she won't make changes. If they knew the answer, they would help us. They don't know the answer, so they won't help. Special note on were. In type 2 conditionals, were is used instead of was after if for all subjects, I, he, she, it, to indicate the subjunctive mood, which shows that the situation is hypothetical or unreal. If I were you, I would apologize. If I was you, I would apologize. "50 example sentences that cover a variety of daily activities and general truths, illustrating the use of type 2 conditionals in everyday life. If I won the lottery, I would buy a mansion. If she were rich, she would travel the world. If they had a car, they would drive to the beach. If he spoke French, he would move to Paris. If we knew the answer, we would tell you. If you studied harder, you would pass the exam. If I were you, I would apologize. If it rained, we would stay indoors. If she were more confident, she would apply for the job. If they invited us, we would go to the party. If he were more careful, he wouldn't make so many mistakes. If you saved money, you could buy a new phone. If I had a boat, I would sail around the world. If we didn't have work, we would go hiking. If she were taller, she would play basketball. If they were in town, they would visit us. If he had more time, he would learn to play the guitar. If you helped me, I could finish this faster. If I lived in a big city, I would use public transport. If we knew his number, we would call him. If she were more organized, she would be more productive. If they liked the movie, they would recommend it. If he didn't work so much, he would have more free time. If you were more patient, you would understand. If I had a garden, I would grow vegetables. If we found a good restaurant, we would eat there. If she were kinder, she would have more friends. If they had a map, they wouldn't get lost. If he exercised regularly, he would be fit. If you practiced more, you would improve. If I were a bird, I would fly high. If we had more money, we would donate to charity. If she were a good cook, she would open a restaurant. If they spoke English, they could travel easily. If he were honest, people would trust him. If you lived closer, we would visit you often. If I had more energy, I would clean the house. If we were younger, we would go backpacking. If she had a dog, she would take it for walks. If they knew the rules, they wouldn't break them. If he studied law, he would become a lawyer. If you listened carefully, you would understand better. If I were an artist, I would paint landscapes. If we had a picnic, it would be fun. If she were healthier, she would be happier. If they built a new school, it would help the community. If he were a better driver, he wouldn't have accidents. If you read more, you would learn a lot. If I were a teacher, I would inspire my students. If we took a vacation, we would relax and unwind. Type 3 conditional sentences. are used to talk about hypothetical situations in the past situations that did not happen and their possible results. The structure of a type 3 conditional sentence is if plus past perfect, would have plus past participle. If clause uses the past perfect tense to describe a past situation that didn't happen. Main clause uses would have followed by a past participle to describe the hypothetical result. Type 3 conditionals are great for reflecting on past events and considering how different actions could have led to different outcomes. For example, if I had known about the meeting, I would have attended. If she had studied harder, she would have passed the exam. If you had told me about the problem, I would have helped you. 50 example sentences that cover a variety of daily activities and general truths, illustrating the use of type 3 conditionals in everyday life. If I had known about the meeting, I would have attended. If she had studied harder, she would have passed the exam. If they had left earlier, they would have caught the bus. If he had saved money, he would have bought a car. If we had invited them, they would have come to the party. If you had called me, I would have helped you. If it had rained, we would have stayed indoors. If she had been more careful, she wouldn't have made that mistake. If they had won the match, they would have celebrated. If he had taken the job, he would have moved to New York. If you had eaten breakfast, you wouldn't have been hungry. If I had seen her, I would have said hello. If we had planned better, we wouldn't have missed the deadline. If she had taken the train, she would have arrived on time. If they had listened, they would have understood. If he had apologized, she would have forgiven him. If you had followed the recipe, the cake would have been delicious. If I had known the answer, I would have raised my hand. If we had brought a map, we wouldn't have gotten lost. If she had worn a coat, she wouldn't have caught a cold. If they had asked for directions, they would have found the place. If he had been more polite, people would have liked him. If you had exercised regularly, you would have stayed fit. If I had remembered his birthday, I would have bought a gift. If we had taken the freeway, we would have arrived earlier. If she had practiced more, she would have played better. If they had invested wisely, they would have made a profit. If he had driven carefully, he wouldn't have had an accident. If you had read the book, you would have enjoyed it. If I had known it was your birthday, I would have baked a cake. If we had packed a lunch, we wouldn't have been hungry. If she had spoken louder, they would have heard her. If they had bought tickets, they would have seen the show. If he had locked the door, the theft wouldn't have happened. If you had studied, you would have done well on the test. If I had taken the advice, I would have avoided the problem. If we had left on time, we wouldn't have missed the flight. If she had been honest, they would have trusted her. If they had checked the weather, they wouldn't have gone hiking. If he had worked harder, he would have been promoted. If you had watered the plants, they wouldn't have died. If I had taken my umbrella, I wouldn't have gotten wet. If we had reserved a table, we wouldn't have waited. If she had listened to her parents, she wouldn't have been in trouble. If they had taken care of the equipment, it wouldn't have broken. If he had paid attention, he wouldn't have missed the details. If you had stayed longer, you would have met him. If I had brought my camera, I would have taken photos. If we had visited the museum, we would have learned a lot. If she had set an alarm, she wouldn't have overslept.